Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunaalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Tibheda Vibhagine Vyaptadehaaya Shanamurtaye Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavat-gite Bhavadveshinim Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedais Sangapadakramopaniषदैः Gayantiyam samagaha Dhyanavasthita-tadgatena manasa Pashyantiyam yoginaha Yasyantanna vidusura-suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Om Narayana Paro Vyaktat Andamavyakta Sambhavam Andasyantastvime Lokaha Dvipacha Medini. Yatha deepo nivatastha nengate sopama smrita yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogamatmanah. Enough, yeah. Because we have to do this bhashya, we have to do, I think, of this. So we are in the middle of this. So just to recall. So the yogi is compared, or rather the mind of the yogi is compared to a windless flame of the candle, burning candle. So therefore yoginaha, what kind of a yogi it is? Atmanaha yogam yunjataha yoginaha. They are all in apposition. Okay, Atmanaha yogam yunjataha. So the yunjataha yoginaha, and that is those two are connected there. How are they connected? They are connected because this yogi, who is this yogi? For this yogi who is practicing nididhyasana, the Atma of yoga, the yoga of Atma, that is the connection there. Then this yata chittasya, it has to do with the mind of the yogi. So we can't take, so therefore it is karmadharaya. We can't take it as bahuvrihi here. Okay? Yeah, because if you take it as bahuvrihi, nothing wrong. It is just more of a description of the yogi rather than the mind of the yogi. Here we are talking of the mind of the yogi compared to the lamp. So it is a karmadharaya, that which is yata and that which is chittam. In that way we have to take, not the one who has a trained chittam. We don't take it that way. So, if you don't understand what is samasa, don't worry, have samosa, because very good weather. Don't worry, you are not losing anything. This is just a small technical point for 3-year course people. Okay, so now, so this is how we have to take it, small little point here. So then we saw the meaning of that. The yogi is being compared to a flame of the mind of the yogi is like an unmoving candle flame. Yatha deepaha pradeepaha nivatasthaha nivate vatavarjite deshe sthitaha na ingate na chalati. Yeah. So gets Adi Shankara also gets straight away into the example. Just like the lamp, pradeepaha. What else when you want to explain deepaha, what can you do? You put a pra in front of it and have a synonym called pradeepaha. Same thing, a well lit lamp. And what is this? Nivatasthaha, qualifying deepaha. So nivatasthaha means it is windless. It is situated in a windless place, and it is explained as nivate. Nivata means what? Vata varjita. So vata varjite deshe sthitaha. Deshe, place. Vata varjite, devoid of high winds. We have to say devoid of brisk high winds. And sthitaha, placed or staying in that, located in that place. Na ingate, we already saw ingati, ingate, atmanepada, first conjugation, na chalati. What was that? Ubhayapadi, yeah. Ingate both are there. Okay. So ubhayapadi, na chalate, na chalati. Now I was going to make chal dhatu also ubhayapadi I was making. So na chalati. So na ingate, na chalati. And na chalati means does not waver, does not flicker. So sa upama smrita. Sa upama smrita is in the Mula. And how is that unfolded? Upama means the Karana Vyutpatti is taken, instrumental reading, which is Upamiyate Anaya, that which is compared through this. Through this it is compared. That is what Upamiyate. Through this the simile is established, through which the comparison is established. Upamiyate Anaya iti. By who? Yogagnaihi. Yogagnaihi means the people who know yoga. So, yogam janati iti yogagnaha taihi. By the people who know yoga, this has been established. But that is still too broad an understanding. People who know yoga means what? People who have studied Yoga Sutra, Bhashyakara wants to say. So he makes it even more specific definition. What does he say? Chitta prachara darshibhihi smrita chintita. Now, so who is this yogagnaihi? Chitta prachara darshibhihi. Prachara means not broadcast. In regular day-to-day Sanskrit, prachara means to broadcast, but here prachara simply means the movement. Those darshibhihi means those who can show the movement of the mind. Meaning what? Those who have studied the movement of the mind. Who are these people who have studied the movement of the mind? Minute movement of the mind? Yoga Sutra experts, by the people who know the Yoga Shastra, who know Yoga Shastra fully. And what do they do? What do these Yoga Prachara Darshis do? They have studied the kinds of thoughts that fall into the mind. And the Yoga Sutra itself will describe these thoughts as Panchavrittaya. Panchavrittaya is also a grammatical expression, but that's not what is talked about here, not about grammar, but 5 types of thoughts are categorized. Pramana. And then what else? Viparyaya. Pramana vritti, Viparyaya vritti, Viparyaya vritti, and then Vikalpa vritti, Nidra vritti and Smriti vritti. Pramana vritti means the Pramana Vyapara, thoughts that are engaged in Pramana Vyapara. Viparyaya means the opposite of that, error, erroneous understanding and how the mind works. Vikalpa, options, and then Nidra, not any vritti there in that this thing, and Smriti, the recalling of the cognition. So recalling all that they have studied. Who are these people? Yogajñas, Chitta Prachara Darshinaha. All they have studied all of these vrittis. And so Taihi Smrita. Upama Smrita. Smrita qualifies Upama, feminine. Upama Smrita means Chintita. Chintita means analyzed here. Analyzed. So, and then Yoginaha Yatachittasya. And so therefore he says Yatachittasya is Samyata Antahkaranasya. Samyata Antahkaranasya. So the yogi who has what? Whose chitta is very well harnessed. What is that called? Subdued and retained. He takes it as Bahuvrihi, but according to some commentators, for a nascent understanding, it is good to see it as the chitta that is subdued. Not so much the emphasis on the yogi, but on the chitta, the mind, the emotions, so that the comparison is between the yogi's mind and the flame, not between the yogi and the flame. So since the mind is talked about, so make sure we bring in the word antahkarana, which is yata. So subdued antahkarana we bring in. Or if we do take it as Bahuvrihi, we take it as the one with the subdued antahkarana, the trained antahkarana. The antahkarana has to be highlighted. And then what else? So this is the yunjataha atmanaha yogaha. Atmanaha yogam yunjata means anutishtataha. Anutishtataha, practicing, being in it, the one who is in it. So what is that? Samadhi. So samadhi for us is what? Samadhi for us is repeatedly reliving the vritti which is of the nature of Brahman. Brahma vritti, reliving it. Brahmakara vritti. Actually it's a misnomer because Brahman has no akara. So that no akara vritti itself. See, ghatakara vritti means the thought in the form of the pot. Brahmakara vritti means the thought in the form of Brahman. What is the form of Brahman? Formless I. That formless I, where that thought goes, yesterday we saw in detail, that kind of, we keep generating those thoughts in the light of what has been studied and received by the Guru. So now the outer Guru turns into inner Guru, and the inner Guru gives a class in the meditation state, and the inner Guru is the truth of oneself that one has received from the outer Guru. And there what does one do? The yogi here regenerates, keeps on regenerating the thoughts of the Mahavakya, repeatedly flooding the mind and dwelling on those Mahavakyas endlessly, and that itself is called Samadhi, because the I and which is the meditator, and the nature of the meditator which is being unfolded through these thoughts are what? Non-separate from one another. They are the one and the same. So therefore that oneness which was understood in the teaching setting is understood in the meditation setting by oneself, by the yogis, hard work by the yogis, understanding which is relived repeatedly, just like the cow chewing the cud. The cow goes out in the pasture, eats all the grasses, and then because it doesn't have a sense of time, it thinks, oh, they will take me, the farmer will take me and tie me to the stable. But then the cow finds, oh, I have so much free time now, already had my lunch, what to do now? So it sits under a tree and regurgitates from one stomach, chews, enjoys wheat grass juice, organic, and then sends it to the next stomach. This is called rumination. Very interesting. The word ruminate, to ruminate, means to chew the cud and bring it out, chew and eat it up again. Word ruminate also means to dwell. Same verb. So the cow also ruminates, and the eager brahmachari that has eaten from the various grasses of the various Upanishad grasses has grazed, and then what? Then finding that, okay, whatever I have to study, I have studied, but then there is still viparita bhavana, what to do. So sits and brings up those gems of the Mahavakyas and one's understanding of the Mahavakya by oneself and repeatedly relives them. Assimilates the knowledge, just like the cow masticates the cud, the grasses, etc. So in this way, the Upanishad juices are even more well assimilated in this kind of a thing, and so the yogi's mind is therefore like a windless flame. And then what else? So did we finish that? Is there something else? Yeah, samadhanam anutishthataha ityarthaha. Samadhim anutishthataha. So the one who is practicing this kind of a oneness. Always we have to convert it into Vedantic meditation or nididhyasana. Evam yoga abhyasa balat ekagri bhutam Nivata Pradeepa Kalpam Sat. Yeah. So furthermore, so being like this, being what? Nivata Pradeepa Kalpam, being compared to a windless light, windless flame, the one who is ekagri bhutam, so the one whose mind is one pointed. Why? How? The hetu is given in the fifth case. What is in the fifth case? Abhyasa balat, yoga abhyasa balat, yogasya abhyasa balat, through the repeated practice of this nididhyasana. Through its power, balat means through the power of the repeated practice of yoga, this nididhyasana, through its power, what happens? The mind, for the one who has this one pointed mind, like that which is kalpam means compared to, that which is comparable to the windless flame, being like that, what happens? For being like that means sat, being like that way, what happens? Let us see. Yatro paramate chittam. Together. Niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati. Yeah, it is culminating here in jnana phalam, which is actually also what? Nididhyasana phalam. Nididhyasana phalam and jnana phalam are identical. Why are they identical? Because nididhyasana is the regurgitation and the rumination, the dwelling in that same jnana which was given by the teacher. So the jnana phala and nididhyasana phala are one and the same. And what is that? Happiness. And that happiness is slowly going to be developed over the next 2-3 verses, we will see. But here it simply says, Tushyati is contented. Tushyati is totally contented. Is contented means what? How is the person contented? That is the content of the 20th mantra, 20th shloka. So yatra must be taken as yada. So yatra means not a place but the time. When does this jnana phalam come? Yatra means yada. Yada means at which time? Uparamate chittam. Chittam uparamate. What kind of chittam? Niruddham chittam uparamate. A chitta, a mind that is stopped in its tracks. Niruddham chittam. Stopped in its tracks doesn't mean thoughtless. No. Stopped in its track of leapfrogging, mechanical thinking habit. Because after all, what is nididhyasana? Overcoming habits. And what is the habitual orientation of the mind? To go from thought to thought to thought to thought. And we say what? Without rhyme or reason. There is a rhyme. There is a reason. There is a reason, but we don't know it because the reason is deep in the unconscious mind or the subconscious mind. The reason is not very clear. Reason is not very clear. And then reason not being clear, what is that? So therefore I say without reason somehow I thought of this. And without rhyme also somehow I thought of it. But sometimes rhyme is also there. Pujya Swamiji used to tell the story. This man saw one Honda and then immediately he thought of Bonda. There is no reason, but what is there? Rhyme is there. Bonda, some kind of fried, caloric, savory food. Okay, so consisting of potatoes. Potatoes are always a comfort food, so very nice something. Fried, soft something is called Bonda. He saw Honda and immediately where did the mind go? Bonda. There is no reason. But there is what? Rhyme is there. Sometimes the reason is there but it is hidden deep within. But this is how the mind goes and this is called mechanical thinking. Even though it leapfrogs and what is there? Vijatiya vritti pravaha it creates. So the flow of anybody's mind will go leapfrogging like the frog doesn't say, okay now I have to go like this. No, it will go from here, then it will go sideways, then it will go back. There is no predictability. So seemingly the mind which is intractable, unpredictable, which is going all over the place. And then always there will be a reason, but the reason is not known to you. The reason is sometimes an association. So you think of somebody and then you think of a movie. Why? Because in your mind they resemble one of the characters in the movie, how they behave. And then after you think of the movie, then you think of something else, popcorn, because there is association between movie and popcorn. Then you think of popcorn, then after that you think of stomach upset because popcorn does not agree with everybody. And then after you think of stomach upset, then you wonder whether satsang is going to be cancelled tonight or not. Answer is yes. Okay, yeah, let me put you out of the suspense. Yeah, no satsang tonight. Okay. So then, so like this, the mind just keeps leapfrogging. There is no connection, no sambandha at all, no rhyme, no reason, at least on the overt level. But first with Vedantic dhyana, what we do is, we don't follow those thoughts. We tell the mind, I am not going to go with you. See, so many years of my life I have been your servant. I have gone with you. I have done whatever you wanted me to do. You asked me to slap the other person, I obliged, and I got into a lot of trouble also. But now I'm not going to listen to you. You do as I say. What will the mind say at first? Fat chance. I'm not going to meditate. I hate meditation. I'm not even going to take up meditation. I'm not going to meditate. It will dig its heels in. But slowly you have to cajole the mind and bring it towards what you want it to do, not what it wants to do. It wants to just spend the whole day in this vijatiya vritti pravaha, thinking discontented things and then ending up where? Sorrow. That's all it will end up. Verse number 23 will tell us that. So it will end up invariably and predictably in sorrow, but still it is so stubborn that it wants to do whatever it wants to do, even though it's repeatedly falling into sorrow. So here the yoga abhyasa, first dhyana abhyasa, is to bring the mind to, put the mind on the diet of mantra. First thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Second thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Third thought, the mind protests, no, very boring, Om Namah Shivaya is not coming. But what do you tell? No, not now, come back. Om Namah Shivaya. Fourth thought. Fifth thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Sixth thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Seventh thought, oh my God, people are coming in late. That's why I cannot meditate. Oh, that's nice, that's interesting. Late rhymes with meditate. Oh, I just composed a poem. This is this kind of a thinking. Then back to eighth thought. What is that? Om Namah Shivaya. I have to persist. Otherwise, the battle is already lost. I have to be the mother of the mind that is training the mind. If the small child is allowed to have its way and the mother says it's time to sleep, it says no, it's time to play, then neither the child will sleep nor the mother can sleep. So therefore, you have to have some tricks of bringing the mind back to the mantra. That's why first it is dhyana abhyasa. Dhyana abhyasa means saguna brahma vishaye manasa vyapara. That is the definition of mantra meditation. Mantra meditation is a precursor, is an absolutely necessary precursor for nididhyasana. Otherwise, nididhyasana is not even possible. You can't even sit for 5 minutes. Here at least through mantra japa, one learns to sit. Yes, out of 108 mantras, only 8 have been said with focus. Doesn't matter. 100 gone, doesn't matter. At least 8 are there. You have accomplished something. Next day or next month, 8 more. Then finally, you get to the place where the mind first unwillingly, second deliberately, and thirdly willingly stays with the mantra. And then one gets ready to have a contemplative life, and then so that kind of a mind is called niruddham chittam. It's not thoughtlessness. It can think. The mind is, we are not enemy to thoughts. So Swamiji wrote one book. What is that called? Silence in spite of thoughts. It might be there in the bookstore or in the library. Definitely be there. Silence in spite of thoughts. In spite of thoughts, what am I? I am the truth of me is that I am not the sum total of my thoughts. I am thoughtless. Even with the presence of thoughts, I am thoughtless nature. I don't have to stop thinking in order to be thoughtless. I am already thoughtless, and then the thoughts that come and go are as though superimpositions upon that thoughtless consciousness, free of form, free of thoughts, free of thinker, free of object, free of subject. This is what I have to understand. So we are not enemy to thoughts. This is where yoga, yoga sutra, yoga shastra and we differ. For them thoughts are real. So that which is real they keep on removing. For us thoughts are not real. They are neither real nor unreal. What are they? Mithya. Therefore, we don't have to bother removing them. We have to understand their reality, that's all. To understand their reality, first the mind is trained by not having its vijatiya vritti pravaha. meaning disjointed and disconnected thoughts are no longer allowed. So we don't stop thinking. What do? We convert these thoughts into connected thoughts, similar thoughts, identical thoughts, with the help of which we train the mind. And this is called the flow of similar thoughts or identical thoughts, sajatiya vritti pravaha. So then a mind that has been trained on sajatiya vritti pravaha is able to drop the thought or think the thought at your behest, at your will. You are in charge. No longer the mind is turning you round and round on its finger. The mind is not controlling you anymore. You are managing the mind. And so for this yogi, because of yoga abhyasa balat, what has happened? The introduction is beautiful here. Yoga abhyasa balat chittam niruddham bhavet. Niruddham doesn't mean there is thoughtlessness. If there is thoughtlessness, one is in a permanently vegetative state. Okay? But chittam niruddham means the chittam is available. Is available. And that's why it was said, ekagri bhutam chittam. Ekagri bhutam. It is single pointed like a sharpened pencil. It is single pointed. It is available. Available for what? Nididhyasana. It is available for not dhyana abhyasa but jnana abhyasa. Do you see the difference? Dhyana and jnana. This is jnana abhyasa. Jnana abhyasa is nididhyasana. Assimilating the knowledge by recultivating, recreating repeatedly what? Repeatedly the various mahavakyas. Keeping on seeing the meaning of the mahavakyas in the heart, in the mind, again and again. So yada uparamate. Yada means when the mind is at rest. Yada uparamate chittam, when the mind and emotions are at rest, means niruddham, means not thinking all kinds of thoughts. How? Yoga bhajanena, yoga sevaya. Yoga sevaya means by the practice of yoga. Seva means to engage in here. It's not that you are doing seva to yoga. No, that's not service. Yeah. Gurukula seva, yoga seva. No, what is this new yoga seva? No. Seva here means to engage. So because of the engagement of this kind of a yoga, dhyana yoga, nididhyasana yoga, the chitta is shanta. And in this shanta chitta, not busy with all kinds of thoughts which are helplessly, as it were, coming and falling in the mind, then what happens? So that at that time, tada, yatra means tatra, tada, what happens? Yatra ja eva atmana atmanam pashyati. Atmana atmanam pashyati. So there is space. What is the space there for? Oneself. There is space to see that experiencing myself alone, I can be happy. Are you not experiencing yourself in the non-contemplative state? Yes. But do you know that? No. That is why the meditative space is cleared to see that there is nothing other than me for me to feel contented. There is no fulfillment of a desire. There is no fulfillment of an expectation. Somebody is not behaving to my liking. There is no raga. Somebody I do not like is not away from me. There is no fulfillment of dvesha. Nothing is there. And in the absence of everything, when the mind is available to me, it is flooded with what? I. That's all it is flooded. Because when you take away anatma, preoccupation, what is there? Atma vrittayah. That's all is there. So it's not even in the form of vritti. You can say it's in the form of vritti in the beginning, but the vrittis also die away, leaving in their wake the understanding all that is here is I. Aham, aham, aham. And that aham, what kind of an I is it? It's a fulfilled I. It's a non-raging, non-kamakrodha, non-madamatsarya, non-wanting, non-victimized, non-karta I. It's simply I. The I that has been divested, that has been cognitively divested of all the variabilities, of all the variable roles, of all the variable epithets, everything. So the I, which is what? Free of the body, free of the mind, free of various kinds of vrittis, free of various kinds of preoccupations, free of raga, free of the dvesha, free of emotions, free of the hold of everything. What is that I? Simply me. And that simply me is a happy me. When one understands that, when one is able to cognitively free the mind of all its preoccupations about the I, about God, about Jagat, about other jivas, when all the anatma preoccupations are gone, where does the mind rest? In the atma, as though. It's not that, you cannot take it literally, because then we'll have two. Ashraya and Ashrita. Adhara, Adheya, Dvaita comes. So, in the mind, figuratively, because everything, in the Atma, figuratively. The mind rests in the Atma, figuratively said, because if you cannot be literal, otherwise there will be two things. There is no two things. So, the mind sinks into the I, so to speak. In other words, resolves in the I. The mind resolves in the I. The mind is nothing but aham. Aham transcends the mind. Mind is nothing but aham. Aham is much more than the mind. In that understanding, that is a very happy understanding. So, for this happy understanding, there are certain conditions which we will see once again. What are they? So, there should be dhyana abhyasa must be there. The mind has to be nicely trained, and the mind has to be able to stop and start at your will. It should not be, you should not be at the slave, or you should not become the slave of the mind. You should no longer be enslaved by the mind. The mind should be there as your servant and ready to do your beckoning, ready to do what you say to it. And such a trained mind, which is niruddham. Niruddham means stopped from engaging, going on its free little way, which is not free at all, which is just a bound thinking, mechanical bound thinking, which it thinks is free. The mind is freed of that and then comes to its natural resting place, which is what? Aham. Why is the aham the natural resting place of the mind? Because it's the resting place of the entire universe. Is the mind part of the universe or not? Yes. So therefore the mind also rests where? In the I, so to speak. And that I, when you understand this, that I is a non-complaining I, a non-demanding I, an accommodative I, a compassionate I, a kind I, not a self-judging I. And that is the gist of this verse. Let's see if we have left anything out. Atmana Atmanam Pashyan, seeing Atmani Tushyati, revels, is contented in this I. This is the I of contentment, and this is the I that has to be recognized in Atma Jnanam. This is the I that is recognized in the classroom. And then after the classroom, what happens? The Brahma Bhava is replaced by what? Jiva Bhava. Jivatvam comes back. Brahmatvam, bye bye. As soon as one wears the footwear, Brahmatvam wears itself out. Jivatvam predominates. As soon as you go down, immediately, what's the time? Did the class end early, or was it really late? Do I have time to go to the room and get what I want, or do I have to go straight to the dining hall? Either way, it's okay, but I need to decide. And then suddenly somebody else comes, and somebody else talks about something else, and then you get caught up in that topic. And then something else happens. Wish it was not raining. Wish it was this. Wish it was that. Then again the mind goes all over the place until the next class. Again in the next class the Brahma Vritti comes, oneness comes, and that oneness, if the Vritti comes and goes away. Vritti means it's a thought, it's kshanika, momentary. But if you ask the question, and some people, some Purva Pakshis will say this, how can a momentary thought transmit the knowledge of the infinite? It can, because the infinite happens to be you. The momentary thought has no role except to point to you by, it's like a windscreen wiper, each vritti. It wipes away anyatha jnanam and ajnanam, clears. That's all it does. Vritti can go away, you can switch off the windscreen wiper, but now the screen is clean. Let's imagine you had not driven for some time, there is dirt and dust. And then you switch on the wiper, some water also it sprinkles, and then some solution, and then it cleans. Then after it's clean, you switch it off. It's like that. So the vritti cleans the load of ajnanam, and then you see, you have the quote unquote glimpse of what is really you. It comes as a glimpse, because there is a clearing that has taken place in the classroom situation. There is that deep understanding and abidance. But because of samskara janita, because of born of many ages old, many lifetimes old, wrong samskaras, wrong vrittis. The wrong vrittis have filled up the heart, filled up the understanding, and that is why there is no abidance or very little abidance. So therefore, here is a person who has mastered this art of being with oneself, in spite of all the other people around. It's not that they had to go to some Mount Everest and sit there. Even there I hear it's very crowded. More and more people are taking mountaineering lessons. So there also it's crowded. Even Manasarovara, it is crowded. Everywhere there are people. And so it's not that the jnani here or the nididhyasana paraha, the one committed to nididhyasana, is avoiding people and avoiding vikalpa. You cannot avoid vikalpa. Vikalpa means various divisions. You cannot avoid vikalpa. In and through the vikalpa, I understand what? I am nirvikalpa. This is what I have to understand. In and through the various so-called divisions and options, I understand that I am free of all divisions. That is the abidance in the knowledge, and that comes first through a practice of dhyana, and then through jnanabhyasa, which is nididhyasana, keeping on deliberately reveling in the Shastra, in the words of the Shastra. And before we know it, the 20th verse says that this deliberate revelry becomes a natural revelry, effortless and natural revelry. You need not even sit in one place and say, now I am going to do nididhyasana at 11:45 and then I am going to stop at 12 o'clock. You need not even say that to yourself. Yatra yatra mano yati tatra tatra samadhayah. Wherever the mind goes, there is revelry. Subject object is seen as though appearance makers in this Atma, free of being either subject or object. So therefore subject object division resolves in my understanding, not because of thoughtless state, and therefore I can see that I am free of vikalpa. No subject, no object. Subject is also centered on what? I. Object is also centered on I. And the difference, the bridge between subject and object, pramana, is also centered on I. And I am what? I am neither the subject nor the object nor the pramana that links the subject and the object. Therefore, tushyati. Divisionlessly tushyati. So, this is the meaning. Let us look at the bhashya. Yatra yasmin kale uparamate chittam uparating gacchati niruddham sarvatah nivarita pracharam. Yeah. So, yatra, as I said, yasmin kale, at which time. It is not place but time. At which time, uparamate chittam, when the chitta quietens down, when the mind, buddhi, etc. quieten down, at your service they are available for you. Then, how do they become available for you? Niruddham. The niruddham qualifies chittam. Niruddham chittam, when the chitta is available for you, how? Sarvatah, all round. Nivarita pracharam. Prachara we saw, here prachara means the movement, same thing. Prachara, all this movement in response to various impressions outside and inside. Within also there is prachara. You think of somebody and you say, oh my God, they are coming day after tomorrow and I am very uncomfortable with them. Why are they visiting? And then there is prachara. What kind of prachara? Inward prachara. Then there is outward prachara. You see somebody, you inquire after their well-being and they tell a sad story and then you get enmeshed in the sad story. External prachara. So the prachara here, both internal and external, are nivarita, warded away, warded off. Nivarita prachara. So nivarita prachara qualifies what? Chittam. Nivarita pracharam chittam. A chittam in which all the various internal and external, machinations are warded off. Through yoga abhyasa balat, that was already said in the Sangati. Look up, look upstairs and you will see. The connecting bhashya says, yoga abhyasa balat eva, this nivarita pracharam chittam. So the mind is calm. Why? Because all unnecessary thoughts pertaining to within oneself and without are warded off, avoided completely, avoided, not suppressed. Just the sangha has gone between them. Because of knowledge, there is no enmeshment. There is neither suppression nor there is enmeshment. Nissango prajnaya bhavet. Because, like Gauda Padacharya says, through the observing very, very carefully, I have become asanga, nissanga. Thought comes, let it come. Oh, I feel like killing somebody. Oh my God, why am I having this thought? What's wrong with me? Okay, that's just a thought. Let it come, let it go. Why am I so angry? Oh my God, I am a Vedantin, I should not be angry. I should be in Vedanta. That's why I am Vedant in. This way, there is no enmeshment. There is no enmeshment with any kind of thought, whether it's a pleasing thought, displeasing thought. Everything is warded off from attaching to the definition of I. So that is what is called nivarita pracharam chittam, that kind of a chittam. How is this gained? Yoga anushtanena, yoga sevaya. Anusthana, we actually putting it into practice. And we talked at length, we have talked putting how this practice should be. Yatra cha eva yasmin cha kale. Yeah, so yatra means at which time, again, because we are not talking of place, we are talking of time. Yatra means at which time. At which time, what will happen? Atmana samadhi parishuddhena antahkaranena atmanam param chaitanya jyotisvarupam pashyan upalabhamanah Sve eva Atmani tushyati Tushtim bhajate. Yeah, very beautiful. This is really a wonderful verse, wonderful shloka. So here two Atmas are there. Oh really? I thought there was only one. Don't worry. Only written wise two are there. Atmana, third case. And then what else? Atmanam. Which case is that? Second case. 2-1 as people would say. So, so Atmana 3-1 and then Atmanam. So Atmana is Antahkarana. That is actually the Karana. The Karana means what? The instrument. So here the first Atma is Shuddha Antahkaranena. Shuddhena Antahkaranena. With a purified Antahkarana. Purified of not only raga dveshas but also the thoughts coming out of those impressions. Not only the raga dveshas are not there, but the connected thoughts are also not there. One can say, I have subdued the raga dveshas, but the internal life is seething with all kinds of thoughts about ragas and dveshas. So, outside expression to raga dvesha one has not given, which is wonderful. First level of, what is that called? First level of stopping, which is called damaha. So, bahyendriya nigraha damaha. But then you did not punch somebody. That is good. Very nice. Wonderful. You are about to hit somebody, but you made it into a Bharatanatyam mudra. Very nice. You practiced what? Dama. But what then? Those seething conditions are there, jumping around in the mind. This is the practice of Shama. Shamadama together. Here, that is the prasada of Shamadama. Because if Shama is there, then Dama is not even needed. Dama becomes necessary because Shama is not there. So Shama is frequently not there. Therefore, first Dama, then Shama. So here, what does so Samadhi Parishuddhena means the Antahkarana that is Shanta Antahkaranena. Antahkarana that is subject to Shama. Shanta. Shanta means it is quiet, it is enjoying quietude from the hold of severe raga dveshas. It is enjoying quietude from all the other kama, krodha, etc. Why? Because that has been internally resolved. Externally scrubbed away, okay, but internally also resolved. How? Samadhina. By this practice of what is called samadhi, but for us, what do we have to translate it into what? Dhyana abhyasa and nididhyasana. So, through this internal practice of sadhana called meditation, upasana or nididhyasana, the heart is cleansed of raga dveshas, the antahkarana is cleansed of raga dvesha, and that becomes the instrument of the vision of no division. So that antahkarana, atmana, antahkaranena, that becomes the instrument of the vision. Vision of what? That is conveyed in 2-1, Atmanam. What is that? Param Jyotisvarupa Chaitanyam. That which is in the form of the light of consciousness. Why always light? Light has a revelatory effect. It reveals everything. So therefore, light. Because the Atma reveals. What does it reveal? That the Antahkarana is still. Atma itself has to reveal that. How do I know otherwise? Atma reveals there is lot of, what is that, agitation. What reveals? Atma only reveals. Atma blesses the mind and the mind observes and reveals. The mind observes itself and reveals. Atma in the form of the Sakshi reveals. So therefore, because of its revelatory capacity, we call the Atma illuminer. And so therefore it is Jyotisvarupa. It is in the form of light. What kind of light? Chaitanya Jyotihi. You don't look for windless lamp, etc. here. Not literal light. It's the revelatory light of consciousness. It's the illumining consciousness. Satchidananda Atma here. That Atma which is in the form of no agenda, which is in the form of no disturbance, which is in the form of no wants, which is in the form of no demands, which is in the form of freedom from past, which is in the form of freedom from future, which is in the form of freedom from all thoughts, even though there are thoughts. In and through every thought it knows, I am thoughtless. So that understanding, so it's not really a vision, it's an understanding of this vision. So that understanding can only take place in a seasoned antahkarana, an antahkarana purified by meditation and nididhyasana. And then one unites with what? With this non-wanting, non-demanding, appreciative, accommodative, compassionate and limitless person as I. One owns up this totally. At that time. At which time? At which time this chitta is trained to stop its nonsensical wanderings everywhere. Then it trains its vision, so to speak, on itself. The spotlight is not everywhere, the spotlight is on itself, and what it sees, what it beholds, what it cognizes, what it understands is the most beautiful thing, which will never be the cause of sorrow, which will always be the source of contentment. And then what kind of a contentment is going to be told in the future? Buddhi grahyam, all right, atindriyam, avishaya janitam. That which doesn't need a vishaya. Usually we need a thing to make us happy. Samosa, all the teeth come out. Cake, some more teeth come out. And then some other happy thing happening, some more teeth come out. We are only used to the 3 gradations of happiness described in the Taittiriya. What are they? Priya, Moda, Pramoda. That's all it is. That is lesha leshatah. Here we are invited to eat at the table, but like a doggy I am sitting at the foot of the table waiting for the master to drop some crumbs, waiting for Bhagavan to give some karma phala so that I can be happy. Whereas what is Bhagavan saying? Sit here, this is your place. No. I want this, please drop something. This is the problem. And this is what Yagyavalkya tells who? King Janaka in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. He tells him, Etasya eva anandasya sarvani bhutani matram upajivanti. This ananda that is talked about here, an ananda that doesn't have a bearing with any object, with any condition of the mind, with anybody else's moods. This ananda, that is what? Swarupananda. Etasya anandasya. Etasyeva anandasya. Sarvani bhutani. All the beings matrameva upajivanti. Upajivanti means they just live for a little scrap of this happiness. They absorb this happiness, they experience this happiness in degrees, small degrees. Small degrees. Tiny degrees, and then matram upajivanti. Again the same idea is put forth towards the end of the Manisha Panchakam, that even Indradayah, Shakradayah, Shakra means Indra, okay, Shakradayah lesha leshatah anubhuyante. So anubhavanti, what lesha leshatah means? In pieces, little pieces, scraps of ananda. When does this Swarupananda become Scrapananda? When it is centered, when I make the mistake of centering it on the object rather than myself, the subject. Object-centered Ananda is always Scrapananda, remnant Ananda, bit by bit Ananda, finite Ananda. Why? Because the object itself is finite. My karanas, which are enjoying that Ananda, finite. My temperament, moods are finite. All these things have to come together. That is at best accidental. Object is there, subject is there, but mood is not there. Object is there, subject is there, karana in the form of stomach upset is there. So karana is not there to enjoy. So all the anandas connected or centered on the objects are what? Are suffering from finitude because of these reasons. Whereas Atmananda, centered on I, is free of all these reasons, ever available, ever myself, never separate from me. So what is the connection between object Ananda and subject Ananda? Subject Ananda, object Ananda is nothing but subject Ananda. Subject Ananda is not object Ananda. That is what one has to understand. And if one doesn't understand that, there is a lot of wrong pursuits, and there is the tendency to sit like a little puppy dog and ask for some small pieces of roti to be given, when the whole platter is in front of you, in the form of what? Jyoti Swarupa Chaitanyam, in the form of this free revelatory light that reveals you as a non-demanding, non-wanting, contented, non-victimized person, free person, limitless person. What does one settle for? One settles for a small object, subject, what is that? Union, which is always finite, because it is in 3 degrees. Priya, Ishtavastu, Darshanam. The Ishtavastu has been spied. Ooh, what is that cake doing there? What is that chocolate cake doing there? Ha ha, how nice it looks. What a good looking chocolate cake. Priya. Then somebody else says, what? This is for you. Ha ha ha. Moda. Ishtavastu, Prapti is there. That gives rise to Moda. Then finally, the union with the Ishtavastu must come. So you say thank you and send the person away, because if that person is there, you have to cut a piece for them. Yeah, you say thank you, close the door on them. They are saying wait, no, go. Okay, then you are yourself with a spoon and the cake, and then what? This is all for me. You inhale the cake, you take it in, and then the subject-object union is there. That is what? Pramoda. This is what it is. This is what is Anandamaya Sharira. This is just the body parts of the Vikara of Ananda. It is not Ananda, it is Ananda Vikara. And the Anandamaya Sharira is visualized in the form of a bird. Tasya priyameva shiraha. Head is Priya. Modo dakshinah pakshah. One wing is called Moda. And then Pramodo uttara pakshah. Pramoda uttara pakshah. Ananda atma. The whole thing is the subject matter of what? Ananda. But we forget the main thing. Brahma puchham pratishtha. So Vishayanande, what Ananda is there? Brahmananda. Vidyanande, in Vidyananda, if I really love looking at this knowledge or Sanskrit, which dhatu goes where, and is it Ubhayapadi or not? When I look into it, there is a joy. There is a great joy because there is an accomplishment. You are one with Ishvara. That is also a form of Ananda. What Ananda is it ultimately? Brahmananda alone. That is also Brahmananda. This is also Brahmananda. But then, if I mistake this and only this, then there is a problem. I have to be able to see, I have to be able to have my sights on Brahmananda as centered on I. So all these small anandas, Priyamoda, Pramoda, Vishayananda, Vidyananda, all the anandas resolve where? In the ananda that is non-separate from myself alone. And that is what has to be understood to understand this word Tushyati, Tushtim Bhajate. Bhajate, accomplishes. Prapnoti. So then, how Chaitanya Jyoti Swarupam Pashyan Atmanam Eva. So seeing oneself as this Chaitanya Jyoti Swarupa. Upalabhamanaha, gaining this. Sve eva means centered on oneself alone and revels. Tushyati. Tushyati means gains this tushti. Kincha sukhamatyantikam yattat. Why am I chanting by myself? Buddhigrahyamatīndriyam vetti yatra na chaivayam sthitaschalati tattvataha. This tushti is now expanded. What is this tushti is now nicely unfolded here. Another beautiful verse. That's why I don't want to hurry with this. Because it is all about revelry, we just have to keep looking into it. And so this tushti is now understood as full-fledged sukham, happiness. So what kind of happiness? Atyantikam. Atyantikam means antam atitya gacchati iti, endless, that which has transcended the end. Atyantikam, transcended the end means what? Endless. That sukham which is endless sukham. Where is it understood? Buddhigrahyam. Understood in the buddhi, grasped by the buddhi, grasped in the buddhi rather, not by the buddhi. Correct that. Grasped in the buddhi, understood in the buddhi, for which sukha, the buddhi is not an agent. We described this yesterday at length. Okay. Buddhigrahyam, but at the same time, atindriyam, transcending the indriya vyapara. There is no indriya transaction, meaning it is avishaya janitam, it is not vishaya janitam, it is not given, it is not born of contact of the sense organs with the sense objects. There is no sense objects here. And the sense organs are resting. They have gone to sleep. They have suspended their actions. But still one is happy, joyful. Why? Because it is understood in the buddhi as the truth of myself, but without any wishes being fulfilled through the everyday empirical channels of subject-object coming together. Atindriyam. Veti, second conjugation with veti. Veti yatra na Veti yatra chaivayam sthitaha na chalati tattvataha. So tattvataha means fifth case, from the tattva, from this reality, from this vision. What vision? The vision that one has understood, that which one veti, the vision that one knows, knowing this and sthitaha, living in this, as this, established firmly in this, does not go away from this vision. Na chalati, does not move away. Meaning what? We don't have to keep getting this knowledge again and again, thank God. One time you understand this, it's enough. Samsara, tata, bye bye. You wave it goodbye happily, and does the samsara come back? No. The 21st verse makes it clear. No more swagatam to samsara. Abiding in this, everything is completely gone. All the dukkha is gone, the source of the dukkha, which is Atma Ajnanam, is gone, and this knowledge, sharpened and honed in by Nididhyasana, has removed all the smallness that was remaining because of wrong association, because of wrong habits. That too is totally gone as one rests in one's Swarupa. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo